Right. So a lot of my friends has been asking me how we were able or how we started to teach our child with ASD stuff. So one thing we've learned from seeing the doctor for his developmental pedia, and also from enrolling him sa first steps, which is his school for the early intervention program, is that it's important for the child to be able to first learn how to settle down. So the first step for teaching your child to at least start to acknowledge you, or have eye contact, or be forced to look at you, or pay attention, is to have your child learn first how to settle down or just sit down. So a couple of the things that were advised to us by the pedia was to teach our child first to try to stay still, try to sit still, and try to be able to recognize that there's a person in front of them and that they should try and pay attention. So she'll see with Yasha, he's able to maintain eye contact. But before we actually seek the development pedia's help, or rather have him inspected or diagnosed, he was already able to do short eye contacts, but just with us parents and not with other people, which the developmental pedia explained that um, what's important is for them to develop that eye contact with other people too. So right now, he's able to do some eye contacts with other people, pero not yet that long, or not yet with his interest being peaked. So we're still working on that. But for those people who doesn't have the means to have their child checked with a developmental pedia, or a developmental pedia is not within their means right now, like there's no developmental pedia in their area. Like for instance, here in the Philippines, in my area at least, there's like just one developmental pedia near me, which is a few kilometers away from here, and then the next developmental pedia would be in a really far off town. So the choices are really just a few people, and getting appointment, and then paying for the appointment, and then enrolling your child to therapy center is really expensive. So for those guys that doesn't have the money yet, or can't enroll or have their child checked, we hope that the videos that we're about to do would be able to at least help you. Of course, I'm we're not going to be able to divulge information that we've learned from my child's school, which is first steps, because as respect with them, and with the contracts that we signed with them, we cannot really disclose their techniques on how to teach your child, or our child, how they teach our child or other children enrolled in their school, their ways of teaching. We can't really divulge that. We'll try our best to share as much information that we were able to learn on our own, without really crossing that agreement or contract that we signed with them. They were generous enough to accept our child, so it's the least that we can do. We're just doing this, videos to hopefully help those people that doesn't have the means right now to enroll their child. I guess one important thing to note is that you'll see that on some of the videos online, they're teaching their child, different ways of trying to communicate. If you're planning to enroll your child to, to a therapy center, and I think it's best to not grasp everything that you see on the internet or on YouTube, because one of the things that the development pedia and then the school director told us is that if your child was able to already learn some things from somewhere, like from a different school, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to override that. It will take as much as the same time that you've wasted to have them learn that thing and then forget that thing and then learn another thing, because every school is different. Like for example, some schools would teach you this way for your child to operate, and then another school would teach you this other way for your child to operate. So I think it's best to just have one set of guidelines that you follow. So if you are already enrolled in a school, or your child's already enrolled in at a school, it's best to follow their guidelines to heart and not try and learn other guidelines from other people, because it would confuse your child. Say, you would know if if you'd had that experience, that enrolling your child onto school, that there are certain techniques that they do. So one school has a different set of technique, the other school would have another set of techniques. So I guess the only thing that we can share is that somehow middle ground of the other school. So yeah, I guess that's for my intro. So the most important thing is to have them settle down. I think it's a no-brainer. You have to be able to pick up that the only way for a child to learn is to be focused, or at least to see you and understand that there's authority in front of them, that there's instructions that's being handled. So the first step would be to have them acknowledge you. So to do that, you have to first teach them to stay still, to sit down. Part of the practice is have them stand still, or have them sit down. So right now, my child is being all playful and grumpy, so we'd have to sit him down. So we would advise you guys to get at least one of these chairs that we got from Lazada. I'm gonna try to look for the Lazada store that I purchased it from, but this one has a belt. Um, we bought this when he was like, I think 1.1 year old and 5 months or something, and we're still using it right now. It's actually a very sturdy and stable chair. Unfortunately, though, he already outgrew the belt, so we're using a temporary belt right now. So don't be alarmed if the belt looks, kind of flimsy. So we're gonna have my son sit down for a while and then let him settle down. I'm just gonna put the phone down real quick. Good, 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 good. Come here. Sitting down. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sitting down. Sitting down. It's okay. Sit down. Just sit down. Sit down for a bit. Just sit down for a bit. Okay, so you'll notice there was some crying, there was some resisting. You'll run into plenty of those. My child's when we started this exercise, he was resisting really bad. Actually, before we had him diagnosed or visited the developmentalpedia, um, we were trying on our own to make him sit down, but he was really resisting, like really standing up, really crying hard. But I guess what most people forget to tell you on YouTube is that you really had to endure that. You really had to force them to sit down, without hurting them, of course. You just sit them down, be patient. They're gonna try to stand up. Uh, Sit them down gently, hold them. There will be a lot of crying, like a lot of crying. For some children, there isn't really a lot of crying. There are, children with ASD that are obedient. There are some who aren't obedient. There are some who cries a lot. It's subjective. People are different. Children are different. Children with ASD are also different. Not every child with ASD is the same. Some children with ASD tends to learn how to speak early. Some children are nonverbal, like my son. He is nonverbal. So see, he's able to sit still. He's able to understand that he needs to sit still. He will try to play with the belt or try to bite it, but of course, you have to prevent him from doing steamings. Like this, he's starting to steam. He's starting to look at other things. He's starting to side stare. So you have to control that. You have to maintain that they try to commit with your eye contact, like me. It's committing eye contact. Now, the school has already taught my child how to communicate. You see him tapping my hand. I can't really teach you that because it's part of their technique, and you have to respect the contract that we signed with them. But you see him tapping my hand, that means he's trying to communicate. So there are some guides on YouTube that will teach you how to teach your child to communicate. My hint would be it's all basically just the same. You just have to learn it step by step. So yeah, so he's sitting down, he's sitting still, he's trying to look away. Every time he looks away, you try to commit eye contact. See, he's committing eye contact with me right now, and then he's avoiding my eye contact. So you have to train that. You have to help him learn how to maintain eye contact. Yeshua, Yeshua, look at Daddy. I love you. So you have to sit them down. You have to really sit them down. There will be a lot of crying, a lot of resisting. But it's basically just a test of wits, or a test of endurance rather. Especially when you're trying to teach them other things. That's just it. You just have to endure, repeat it over and over again. One of the experiences that we have that was really difficult was making my child learn how to wear a cap and a face mask. But then again, it's just like sitting on the chair. If they stand up, sit them down. Don't get angry. Don't show them emotions. Don't show them that you're uptight, you're agitated, because they feed on that. If they see that you're agitated and they're getting emotions out of you, it kind of they kind of enjoy it, or they kind of wanna have you do that over and over again. So make sure you endure. Just poker face, make them sit down, and then maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes per day, sit them down, talk with them. Yeshua, how was your sleep? So I guess that's it. Wait a minute. Ay,
Kuya, ito, binigay sa akin.
wait lang.
Cookie.
So yeah, I guess that's my video for now. So make your child learn to sit, and after they learn to sit, everything follows. They start to acknowledge you, they start to look at you, they start to learn, and hopefully they'll be able to adapt to a normal life. All right, so that's for me right now. Somebody's at the door. It's my sister. Okay, bye bye.